Today we're doing what we do best here at the Red Delta Project, which is make things really boiled down and simple as possible towards your fitness goals. Today we're talking about muscle building. What are the two things that you need to make happen to build muscle? Okay? Now, here's how this works. When you are trying to make a change in the body, we're talking about a cycle, kind of a yin and yang sort of deal. So we have two sides. We have a stress, some sort of a mechanical stress being imposed upon the muscle that is causing fatigue, and then we have recovery. Okay, so basically these are the two elements of building muscle or even maintaining the muscle that you have. You have these two things, you have muscle. And if you have them in greater degree, more muscle. It is that simple. But let's look at these in a little bit more detail and see what we can do. First of all, with stress, we're talking, of course, about a mechanical stress. Okay, the type of stress that causes muscle to contract. You can't just take like a hammer and just hit your muscles and cause the same kind of stress. We're talking about the sort of stress that uses the chemical energy within the muscle to a high state of fatigue. Then, when the muscle recovers, if the stress was significant enough, it's going to what they call supercompensation, where it's going to bring a little bit extra of that energy into the muscle just in case that happens again. And so with that, the muscle gets a tiny bit bigger, and you do this over and over, many repetitions, and that's what results in a much bigger size over time. So with that said, it's important to understand, of course, that muscle is controlled by your mind. So don't get caught up in the idea of like free weights versus machines, or what's my routine like or anything. The thing that causes this stress that allows a muscle to really work is, of course, your brain. So, and mind-muscle connection is a skill that we always have to cultivate to a higher degree. Just because my arm is doing this doesn't necessarily mean that my bicep muscle is working optimally and reaching a high state of fatigue, therefore telling it needs to be bigger. Work on practicing contracting your muscles on the daily basis so that they can contract to a much higher degree when you're working out. Second of all, routine. Think of the idea of what does a routine mean to you. It's like it's the daily grind, consistency. You do it over and over and over. A lot of times in our fitness culture, you hear this is a bad thing. No, it's a very good thing. You want routine. You want consistency. You want to have a workout that is very similar over and over and over again. Too much variety causes muscle confusion. And I know people will say, well, isn't that the point? No, muscle confusion is a bad thing. You want the instructions going into your muscles, this sort of thing, to be as simple and clear as possible and highly repetitive. Very repetitive, okay? Think of like martial arts. Punch, punch, punch. What do you do next week? Punch, punch, punch. 10 years later, punch, punch, punch. But what happens is the muscles in the body adapts to this in a very high level, and that's how you break 5 blocks of concrete with your fist. You don't do it by practicing this punch, and then you don't practice it again for like 5 weeks because you have so much variety. Progression, though. That's the thing. It's like, well, if I'm always doing the same thing, then nothing happens. True, but you do need progression. You do need to do the same things better. Remember, different doesn't bring you results. Doing the same thing better does. So always make sure you have your eyes set on progression. Never do a single workout, a single exercise, a set, or even a damn rep without your mind, okay, focusing on what is better about this. How am I trying to do this to a higher level? Okay? And then finally, high fatigue. People throw around the term failure. I use the term high fatigue now because, one, I really don't think we really honestly understand what failure means. Two, I think we sell ourselves short all the time. People say, oh, I went to failure, I went 100%. I guarantee you, you did not go to 100%. If I came in and I threatened your life with like a flaming chainsaw, you would have gotten more reps. Okay, so we need a high level of fatigue on this one. Really, really high amount of exhaustion in the muscle. That's what uses up that energy, and then the muscle needs to rebuild and it supercompensates. Now, it only can rebuild and supercompensate if we have recovery in place. Okay, so one is you got to give yourself enough time. 2 to 3 times a week is usually optimal for most people when it comes to how often they're doing something. If you've got a push-up routine, you're doing it every single day to a high level of fatigue, you're not giving yourself enough time to recover, and you're just driving yourself into the ground. Sleep, super important. A lot of your recovery happens when you're sleeping. So make sure that you put just as much of an emphasis and priority on your sleep as you do your actual workouts. Okay, because I guarantee you, if your sleep sucks, your recovery sucks. Recovery sucks, your workouts are gonna suck. Diet, this is important. Don't go crazy with all like the supplements, whey protein shake and anything. Stick to the real food. It's gonna be much more effective for you, much more enjoyable. And again, just with diet, as is exercise, keep things relatively consistent. Eat the same basic foods throughout the week. Don't go all over the place every single day. One day it's salad and organic tuna, the next day it's pizza and beer and all over. If you're gonna do like pizza and beer, do it on a regular basis. Do a couple of slices Friday night with your friends or something. Just maintain the consistency. Okay? And then finally, mental R&R, mental rest. You're not gonna get this through just watching TV. Reading books, hanging out with friends, something that just takes the stress off mentally is good, because pushing yourself with this kind of stress is something that can really wear down on you. Plus we have the stresses of other things in your life, your job, social relationships, if you're fighting with your girlfriend or wife, that's all gonna stack up and limit your ability to impart stress upon your muscles. So this is kind of a cheat sheet. You got stress, you got recovery. These are the big things to take care of. Ask yourself, where are you falling short? And those are the things that are holding you back in your muscle building endeavors. Questions below. Be fit, live free.